Next I'm going to put my water pump on so that I can put my timing belt on. I put a little copper coat on there. Screw that on. Okay, water pump is screwed on. Now I'm going to put my timing belt on. Start with the tensioner here. Okay, I just want that hand tight. Make sure I have some movement on here. Yeah, put this thing in here. Long screw goes here. And then this little spring will go around that screw. I'll just let it hang for now. My crankshaft pulley mark right here. That little dot is lined up with that little arrow right there. Now I set the valve cover on top. The mark that lines up with is that little notch in the top of the valve cover. So if I want to be really good, I need to make this dot line up with that notch. So there we go. Now that's everything's perfectly lined up. Okay, now I'm going to try to wrestle this belt on. This side needs to be straight, and you want to be careful not to move it. It has to be on just right. Okay, be lined up good. I'll hook up my tensioning spring now. Okay, now I want to turn it 2 or 3 times all the way around, maybe 4 times. There's one time around. My E mark looks like it's off a little bit. I turned it a couple of times. My mark down here is lined up perfect. And if I look up here, you can see my E mark's there. My notch is there. So it's off one belt notch. I'm going to take it off and try to readjust it. I took it off and readjusted it. Now it's lined up right. This notch and that arrow are lined up, and this E mark and this notch up here are all perfectly in line, just like it should be. Okay, all set. I'm going to tighten this up to 12 Newton meters. I'm going to tighten this one up to 28 Newton meters. I'm just going to go ahead and take this spring out of here because it doesn't do anything. These 2 bolts are tightened down. The spring isn't going to do anything. And this little screw doesn't need to be, this little bolt doesn't need to be here either. I'm just going to leave those out so they don't fall. Now I am going to put some copper coat around that end of that rocker arm shaft, and also right here on that little round part right there. Got a little copper coat seal on here and on there. Don't forget to put the new O-ring on. 3 bolts go in here. The longer one goes in this one right here. Like almost all of these size 10 bolts, and torque them about 12 Newton meters.